Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for The Flash. So let's start talking about this episode. Damn, this is a big episode. So, this is the Fury of Firestorm, so it's very much connected to the Legends of Tomorrow, and if you guys probably might know this, but I am part of the Legends of Tomorrow podcast, so I am very much looking forward to the Legends of Tomorrow, and I love these connected episodes. So far this is probably the most connected to the Legends of Tomorrow because we get to find out who the new Firestorm is. The whole episode's about finding another counterpart for Stein, and he's dying if he doesn't find one. So you have Hewitt, who is a potential candidate, and then Jax. So if you've been catching up with Legends of Tomorrow news, Jax is the new Firestorm. So it's like, oh, what happened to Hewitt? We find out that Hewitt cannot combine with Stein, and then he ends up becoming kind of the villain of the episode, but not like a villain of the week. It felt very connected to the story, which I very much enjoyed, because I like those type of villains more than, random villain of the week. But we do have a villain of the week kind of in this episode, but it works for the episode. I'll get to that point in a bit. But yeah, so Jax becomes the new Firestorm, and he's very much like Ronnie in the comics. He's actually more like Ronnie in the comics than Ronnie in the show was. He's the football star. You can tell he's going to have a lot of differing opinions from Stein, more than Ronnie, because Ronnie was similar to Stein in many ways. Yeah, he physically had the attributes to be more of the face of Firestorm, but he was a scientist also, so it was less of them debating against each other. Now, Jack's a football player that doesn't know much about science, so it's going to be very fun to see them combat against each other like it was in the comics. So, I feel that, yes, in the show they needed to do Ronnie the scientist to connect with Caitlin, but in a lot of ways they kind of fixed their mistakes and made Ronnie Jax, and Jax is Ronnie, so it makes sense. And I think very hardcore Firestorm fans are going to be happy about that. I know on the Legends of Tomorrow podcast, we actually talked to Shag, who runs the Firestorm fan page. I know that's the direction he wanted to see the character go, and it seems that's the direction it will go. So it's also Caitlin kind of moving on from Ronnie, finally kind of getting over her grief. Of course, she's always going to grieve and love Ronnie, but grieve in a different way. And we're really seeing, Caitlin move on. This episode's very much about second chances and moving on. So Caitlin definitely does that here. And Cisco, in the back of his mind, knowing that he has abilities coming and kind of scared to tell his friends, but might be able to tell his friends after the events that happened. And then second chances also have to do with Barry wanting to find love, so he might, end up dating Patty for a little while, which I think it's just going to happen for a little while. I don't think Patty will be endgame. I do still think it's Iris, but we'll find out, because in the comics, he technically is with Patty, so I think this will be an unknown. But I want Iris, come on. And then Iris has some big stuff in this episode, because Iris comes face to face with her mom, and she understandably says, I don't really want you to be in my life. You left me, do what you gotta do. But I don't really want to see you. And then we find out that she's dying, and then Iris like, alright, maybe I'll give her a second chance, but then finds out that she was lying this whole time. Not about her dying, because she is dying, but she had a son this whole time. So Iris has a brother that she doesn't know about, Wally West, and that's what we're going to end up seeing probably. Now, I could be completely wrong, and it can be Daniel West, who became the Reverse Flash in the New 52, but I have a feeling it's going to be Wally. It makes more sense, unless Wally's going to be from Earth 2 and be the nephew in that way. But I really do think Wally West is the brother. I think that's how they're going to combine Wally here, which is going to be interesting if Wally becomes Kid Flash when he's not a kid, and also having Iris have so many speedsters in her life, having her brother be a speedster, technically her other brother / love interest, Barry, be a speedster. It's going to be interesting to see if they go that route. But when I heard that, I'm like, oh my god, that was a good twist that we knew was coming, but still a good twist. And then the ending, we get to see King Shark. Now, if you don't read the Flash Season 0 comics, he actually made an appearance in that comic. I don't know if they were following the comic at all, but I guess it doesn't matter. You can kind of tie it in yourself. You don't really need to read the comic, but they don't mention the comic these adventures, past adventures in the show. Still, they were able to two-step around that. But King Shark, which looks beautiful visually wise. I mean, the visual effects in this episode were amazing. With the Firestorm fight, King Shark, and we get to see King Shark in the end of the episode. It's like, oh, the villain of the week in the end of the episode? What's going on here? I mean, King Shark's not the biggest Flash villain, so what does this mean? And then we get to see that Harrison Wells saves the day. So is Harrison Wells a bad guy? Barry knows that Harrison Wells is actually not alive because he's a different version of Harrison Wells, but around. So it's going to be really, really interesting. So this episode probably was the best of the season. Not even probably, definitely the best of the season, because you get to see, again, Firestorm, which connects to Legends of Tomorrow, but a lot of these stories that connect to Legends of Tomorrow, it is progressing the Flash plot at the same time, because Firestorm has been a part of Flash for a while, and then you have Harrison Wells, you have Iris' story, Cisco, Caitlin, which I really wanted Caitlin to, like, showcase her powers a bit here. Like, we know she has her powers, just, like, I want to see it. Maybe she'll be, like, Earth 2 version will be the supervillain version, but I want to see superhero Caitlin, especially since she was talking about being a hero so much. I know that was more towards Jax, but I'm like, I feel like this is a foreshadowing. Give me Caitlin as Killer Frost, or just Frost something. Give me Caitlin as a superhero having powers. We had that with Cisco, it's going a bit slow, but I want to see it with Caitlin, like, really badly. And finally, Caitlin was not just in the sidelines. I was very happy about that. I feel like Cisco and Caitlin's stories have been very much in the sidelines for other, plot lines to develop. But, Caitlin was finally, not her episode, but she was a part of this episode. So I enjoyed that. But yeah, it was just a really well done episode that I enjoyed. Last thing I want to mention with Hewitt. Hewitt actually is the creator of Firehawk, Lorraine, in the comics. She's not a well-known DC hero, but I really like Firehawk. She's the Senator's daughter, and she becomes Firehawk, and she was a love interest to Ronnie, so maybe she could be a love interest to Jax. And again, they introduced Hewitt, so it'd be kind of cool to see him want even more revenge and make the Senator's daughter, whoever the Senator's daughter is going to be, Lorraine, hopefully, to turn her into Firehawk in a future episode of either Legends of Tomorrow or Flash. I think it could be kind of cool. I would love to see Firehawk. I never thought it could be possible, but with this episode, I'm like, Firehawk is possible. So I really would like to see that, especially as a secret identity type story. Like, yeah, the Senator's daughter is a superhero. So I thought that would be kind of cool to see. But yeah, overall, like I said, this was the best episode of the season, and it was a really well done episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Of course, next week I'll have another review for The Flash, and I'll see you guys later. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, in the description below, there is links for my comic book, Like Father Like Daughter, and don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father Like Daughter. I'll see you guys later. Bye.